What if I told you that one of the oldest names in tech is actually one of the newest? It sounds kind of weird, right? But today, we're going to dive into how this absolute giant, IBM, went from being on the brink of total collapse to leading the charge in the AI revolution.
Okay, so when you hear the name IBM, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Seriously, is it those giant, old-school mainframes? Maybe typewriters? The very first personal computers? Whatever it is, just hold that thought. So on the one hand, you've got that classic image, right? Mainframes, typewriters, the whole big blue vibe with the dark suits. But then you look at what they are today, and it's a completely different company. We're talking enterprise AI, hybrid cloud, even quantum computing. Seriously, the story of how they made that leap, well, it's honestly one of the greatest comeback stories in business history. All right, first up, IBM, beyond the mainframe. And to really get a feel for the new IBM, let's just start with one single powerful number, a number that really tells you everything you need to know about where they are today. $7.5 billion. That's not their total revenue. That is the size of their generative AI business alone. This isn't some side hustle or a little experiment. No, this is a core, fundamental part of who IBM is now. But look, to really appreciate just how mind-blowing that shift is, we've got to go back. We have to understand the massive empire they built in the first place. So let's talk about the era of Big Blue. For decades, IBM wasn't just a part of the tech industry. They pretty much were the tech industry. I mean, they earned that nickname, Big Blue, for a reason. They were this unstoppable force that every competitor both looked up to and was absolutely terrified of. And their rise to power was just methodical. It started way back in 1911 with a merger of a few companies making business machines. Then in 1924, they get the name we all know, International Business Machines. But the real game changer? 1964. They dropped the System/360 mainframe, and that just cemented their dominance. And of course, in 1981, they helped kickstart a revolution with the IBM PC. Every single step was a masterclass in how to own a market.
Yeah, that System/360 mainframe, it was basically their fortress. Everything was proprietary. Once you were in, it was almost impossible to leave. They built this incredibly powerful ecosystem that really locked in their Big Blue status. But, as you'll see, the very walls they built to keep everyone in, well, they were about to become a prison. And that leads us right into the next chapter, a giant in crisis. Because by the late 80s and early 90s, the tech world was changing at lightning speed, and this massive giant was starting to stumble. Badly. The crazy thing is, this wasn't some surprise attack out of nowhere. People saw it coming. Way back in 1979, you had magazines like Business Week asking, hey, is IBM just getting old and stodgy? The writing was on the wall for more than a decade before things really hit the fan. So what went wrong? Well, ironically, the personal computer revolution they helped kick off ended up biting them. They let other companies, like Microsoft, swoop in and control the really profitable part, the software. IBM's whole world was built around these huge, expensive mainframes. So when the industry shifted to cheaper, more open systems, they were just completely caught flat-footed. And this is what hitting rock bottom looks like. An $8 billion loss in a single year, 1993. It was one of the biggest corporate losses in history at the time. I mean, everybody wrote them off. They were a dinosaur, a relic. But IBM decided to do something different. Okay, this is where the story gets really good. Because instead of just quietly fading into history, IBM launched one of the most audacious, boldest transformations I've ever seen. They didn't just, change a few things here and there. They basically decided to build a brand new company right on top of the old one. The plan was built on 3 huge pillars. Number 1, stop being just a hardware company. Shift to high-value software and services. Number 2, go all in on this new thing called artificial intelligence. And number 3, bet the entire company on the future of something called hybrid cloud. So what the heck is hybrid cloud? Okay, think of it like this. A big company has its own private computer servers, right? But they also use public clouds, like Amazon's or Google's. Hybrid cloud is like the magic glue that connects all of it. It lets them manage all their data and apps seamlessly, no matter where they are, all as one single secure system. It's basically the operating system for a modern global business. And they didn't just talk the talk. They made massive moves to back it all up. They developed Watson, their enterprise-grade AI platform.
They made a monster acquisition, buying Red Hat to basically own the hybrid cloud market, and they recently snapped up HashiCorp to beef up their automation capabilities. Every single move was a deliberate chess piece designed to build the foundation for their next 100 years.
All right, so we've seen the crisis and the big plan. The billion-dollar question is, did it actually work? Well, let's take a look at today's AI powerhouse. The short answer is yes. IBM isn't just surviving, they are a leader in the exact areas they bet on all those years ago.
And you can see the proof right here in the growth numbers. Look at this. In the first half of 2025, their key businesses are just flying. Red Hat, the heart of their cloud strategy, is up almost 15%. Their automation software, growing even faster. This isn't just a company that turned around. This is a company with a powerful new growth engine.
And remember Watson, their AI? It's not just some cool science project anymore. It's out there, in the real world. We're talking about it being in hospitals, helping doctors with clinical decisions. It's in banks, sniffing out fraud in real time. It's even in retail, personalizing your shopping experiences. This is AI at a massive industrial scale.
Now this is fascinating. This table shows a kind of hidden power that IBM has. What you're looking at is how many times huge companies, Microsoft, Google, Bank of America, have their own patent applications rejected because IBM already invented and patented the core idea. Think about that. They're not just playing the tech game. In many ways, they're still writing the rule book.
So, where do you go from here? After pulling off a comeback like that, what's the next act? Well, for IBM, the next reinvention is already happening.
And they are pushing into the absolute next frontier. Get this, they're partnering with companies like Moderna, using quantum computing, the next massive leap in computing power, to help develop mRNA technology. I mean, just think about that journey. They went from making business machines to helping design the literal building blocks of life.
And their current CEO, Arvind Krishna, says it himself. That $7.5 billion Gen I business, it's not just growing. He says the momentum is accelerating every single quarter. After coming back from the brink, IBM is absolutely on the offensive.
So it leaves you with a really interesting question. We always think of IBM's great innovations as the mainframe, the PC, Watson, now quantum computing. But maybe we're missing the point. After more than 100 years of constantly, radically changing, maybe IBM's greatest innovation is reinvention itself.